So when I sit here on this yacht and reminisce and think about the challenges that my grandchildren have today, and I admit there are huge challenges in this society, and there are challenges for everybody. But the fact that they have huge numbers of relatives, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who have faced the challenges and who have succeeded, I know that there is an incredible future for my grandchildren. But I said to him, the incredible future waits for them if they can plan, if they can put a plan together, and if they can be diligent and persistent in accomplishing their plan. And I hope that I am a little of example of what you can do. And I want them to know that I'm here for them as long as I'm here to help them pursue their dreams, to help them pursue a lifestyle that's even better than mine. After a divorce in the 60s, I stayed a bachelor until 68. I got married my second time to Barbara Blackwell, a woman from Rockford, Illinois, a very intelligent woman, had a master's in social work and was a social caseworker supervisor at the time. We got married. At the time I had both Kusha and Cuttie, son and daughter by my first wife. With her we had no children. We were married 17 and a half years. Shortly after I got married, we discussed the fact that I wanted to grow in my career to become a superintendent of schools, and I needed to go back to school to do it. Went to Loyola University in Chicago and got my master's degree in education. While I was there, I met a gentleman who had good contacts at Northwestern, and I was admitted to Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois' PhD program. Shortly after I was accepted to the school, I was hired at Mundelein College to direct a program called Upward Bound, helping youngsters get into college from high school that had low potentials of succeeding. A great job. So entering Northwestern University in 1970, I, along with two or three of my friends, sit down and looked at the program and found out the quickest route to getting a PhD at Northwestern University was to do everything they put in the program that you had to do. If you completed it on time, we could be out of Northwestern with a PhD degree in 2 years. So two or three of us set our goal on doing that, and we did it. Northwestern was a great academic experience for me. One, it's the only private Big Ten university in the United States. Two, they had every resource at Northwestern that you wanted. And three, they gave me a full-time fellowship to pay all of my expenses. And when I complained to them that I was a little short of money, they gave me a TA, a teaching assistant's job, and also a job working with one of the senior professors as a consultant in urban education. It was a great 2 years of my life, not near as hard as getting a bachelor's degree from Kentucky State University. But Kentucky State University had prepared me well. And as one of my professors told me before I left Kentucky State, if you leave here with a bachelor's degree, you can go anywhere and get a PhD. And he was exactly right. In 2 years, I wrapped up Northwestern University and received a PhD degree in education administration and certified to be a superintendent of schools anywhere in the United States. The 2 years was a tough 2 years for me because I worked full time as director of Upward Bound College because I needed income to support my family. But I had an amazing support person. My second wife, Barbara Bacon, typed nearly every paper I turned in and edited nearly every paper I turned in, and did advise me at graduation time that the degree should have two names on it, Cuttie Bacon and Barbara Bacon. She did an awful lot of the work. I agreed. I said to her before graduation, I knew I would be getting a job, professorship at Governor State University, a small new university right outside of Chicago. I said to her, for being so nice to me and so supportive while I worked on my doctorate, I will buy you any kind of car you want. I did know that she was to select a Mercedes 450 SL convertible with a hard top, but when she showed me, she said she didn't know the name and make of the car, but she wanted one like the little red one she saw sitting on Rush Street. I informed her that there was a very expensive Mercedes convertible. She said she still wanted one. 6 months after getting my doctorate, I did buy her a 450 SL brand new convertible at Lobo Motors. And if you can believe, in 1972, a brand new 450 SL convertible, the biggest convertible they made that year, with two tops, cost $10,900. But mind you, a professor's salary then was $20,000 a year, and that was considered good money in 1972. The studies at Northwestern, when I went in, I felt a little intimidated with my background because I'd always heard that Big Ten schools were really rough. But I was amazed after I got started, and leaning back on my Kentucky State all-black college background, I was well prepared. Even teaching there part-time, I was well prepared. So I simply, at that time, you could put your program together for what you wanted to take at Northwestern, how much finance you wanted to take, how much staff development you wanted to take, put it together. I got my program approved. I've got a couple of good friends, study friends, and during that time also, at the convenience in the library, if you were a PhD student, you could also have your reserve your own office to go to school, take your books to your own office in the library, do your studying. So it was a very challenging time of my life, but my doctorate enabled me to get a job and have a career that I'd always dreamed of. Immediately on graduating in 1972, as I said, I started June of 1970. June of 1972, I got my doctorate. I was hired at Governor State University, a small state university outside of Chicago, as a professor of cooperative education. I immediately went to work there. It was considered a very good job. I lived on the south side of Chicago then with my second wife. And after a year working at Governor State, I was hired to be a reading consultant with a major reading company. And so for the next 2 years, I would do that.
What exactly did that entail? What was that?
Reading consultant was, I went to school districts. It was really a program that sold reading programs and reading materials. My main job was to go convince principals and superintendents that we had a reading program could increase the scores of their students and their students' ability to read at the elementary school level. My job was basically that of a glorified salesman, but being an educator, they looked at me as an expert on reading. I didn't know that much about reading, but when you have a PhD in education, everybody assumes that you know what you claim you know. So it was a fun job with a lot of travel. Many times I would come into Chicago and have to leave out so fast, I'd have my wife bring me a suitcase of clean clothes to the airport. I'd give her a suitcase of dirty clothes to get back on the plane.
Wow.
But they were great years because they allowed me to do things with the money that I'd never been able to do. Working two jobs allowed me to have a very fine house in Chatham, 5 bedrooms, 3-car garage. Allowed me to have a Cadillac for a second car, a Rolls Royce for main car, and a sports car, a Corvette just for a fun car. So the income was good. We were able to travel. For the first time in my life, I was able to buy custom-made clothes of my choice, the finest watches that they made, to find the shoes that they made, and began to realize that dream life that I had dreamed about. And let me reflect back. People ask, what dream life did I have? Well, as a kid, I recall being the worst dressed guy in my Sunday school class. And as a kid at 12 or 14, I promised myself that as an adult, I would never be the worst dressed guy in the crowd, that most of the time I would be the best dressed guy in the crowd. So if I appear a little flamboyant now and I spend much more money than the average guy does, it's one of those little boy bad experiences I had that I'm reliving that I never got over. I remember one time my second wife asked why I had to pay $2,000 for a custom-made suit. And my only response was because I couldn't get a suit when I was 12 or 13 at all. So buying an expensive custom-made one helped heal some of those wounds that I got and helped assure me that I had fulfilled the dream that I had at 12 and 14 years old of being the best dressed guy in the room, better than most people in the room.